Today's album review is The Clash's self-titled 1977 UK debut. It is a pretty good, if somewhat unpolished album. It's pretty rough instrumentally. A lot of the polish would be on the band's later songs or missing here, and a lot of the backings are quite basic. The main emphasis is on the vocals and the lyrics. While the punk music is a genre in and of itself, it harkens back to the simplicity of early rock, something that is very apparent in this album's instrumentation. Lyrically, the album tries to convey politically and socially complex themes in a simple, digestible lyric that are sung in a gritty manner. This often manages to work pretty well, as the lyrics manage to be not overly complex, but at the same time are not completely stripped of political implications. There are a lot of songs on this album, but a lot of them are quite short. This leads to the album having a rather unique pacing. It feels a lot longer than it actually is, but at the same time feels neither too long or too overdeveloped. The duds are short enough to never lose your attention, and the good ones make the best of the time they have. Overall, the album feels like it is long, but at the same time feels somewhat breezy. This contradiction is the key to The Clash's success. It is a satisfying yet exciting album throughout its entire runtime. Janie Jones is a great way to kick off the album. The whole sound of the band is clearly cemented here. A very catchy chorus, fast playing, and lyrics that deal with youthful rebellion. The song starts as an ode to several things young men are interested in instead of work, such as sex, drugs, cars, and rock and roll. However, eventually the man of the song ends up unable to pay his taxes due to skipping work and has to come back from his lazing around to talk to his boss about it. Is this meant to be a cautionary tale or great injustice? Or does it matter? Remote Control is an attack on censorship and control. It describes the moral guardians of the United Kingdom as people who wish to control all others like robots through remote control. This control also extends to music, as rock and roll has often been the target of moral panic. The band feels they cannot do anything about this. Though they are the cradles of their music, they have no money or influence to be able to prevent the government and the industry's control over their content. The song has a very good energy going on throughout it, and a very great vocal track. I'm So Bored with the USA is one of the less catchy tracks on the album. Lyrically, it deals with the band's angle at the United States' behavior during the later half of the 20th century. Noted in the lyrics are issues such as drug abuse, U.S. backing of dictatorial regimes, and the Watergate scandal. Also mentioned are several American television shows from the period, where the band expresses that they grew bored with television propagating America above all else. In White Riot, the band advocates the white people to join in rioting for better living conditions. This is put to very fast music and features a very catchy chorus. The song is, for better or worse, a reference to what was at times recent events in the United Kingdom, but it does use vague and universal-sounding language. As a result, its applicability as well as the audience's perspective on it become very contextually subjective. Hate and War details how people live to hate one another instead of working together. It's one of the cheesier tracks on the album, but also one of the weakest musically. What's My Name is a song about someone who is such a nobody that even he doesn't know who he is. He appears to be just a normal, if somewhat perverted guy, who lives in a terrible but unremarkable life. Similar to Hate of War, this features one of the weaker choruses on the album, and really does not stand out too much. Deny is a song about lies. It starts out attacking a person that is viewed as a serial liar by calling out multiple of their lies in the verses. Eventually, this turns into an attack on anti-immigration policies, denouncing the government's talk of being in support of legal immigration as lies that the government uses while wrapping up paths to citizenship in red tape. The song continues on to criticize the media for promoting an overly unrealistic view of the world with some overly fluffy stories and other ones that play up tragedies for the wrong reasons. Musically, this song is great. It has one of the album's best choruses and is sung in a very biting manner. London's Burning is an attack on commercialization. It uses a pretty good metaphor, but at the same time does not do anything special. One of the weaker tracks on the album, but still played well enough and decently memorable. Despite being one of the shortest songs on the album, Career Opportunities also manages to be one of the most memorable. The song details how youth often feel pigeonholed into menial and undesirable professions that they feel were picked for them instead of by them. Overall, it is another angry, scathing song that has a real energy behind it. Protex Blue is an ode to condoms and safe sex. It seems like an odd thing to have a song about, especially before HIV, but it manages to have aged quite well because of this. The song is a pretty catchy one, and the band would later continue to advocate for usage of protection on later songs, such as London Calling's Love Will Spark. Police and Thieves is a song that compares the police to thieves, going around taking from people like criminals. The song also compares politicians to generals, criticizing the peacemakers for becoming war officers in times of civil unrest. The song is, by far, the longest and slowest on the album, but manages to not feel out of place. A strong driving beat and good bass line work wonders for this song's pacing, and the repeated oh yeahs are really catchy. 48 Hours is the only song of the album that feels too short. However, that appears to be the point. The New Whale wishes to make the most of his weekend, but all his time is squandered, and it ends far too soon. Garageland serves as a fitting closer for the Clash's first album. The band states how they do not wish to become like The Witch, even if their music becomes successful. They assert how they can make do with what they have right now and still be just as successful musically as they would be with financial success and a bigger budget. It serves as a definitive statement on the band's mission as well as that of punk music as a whole. The first bookend of the band's career wishes to dictate how the band will be at the end, that they will continue as punks and never be sellouts. They may not have succeeded at that. Okay, so before we get on to the final ranking, I do want to look at the sleeve. Now, there's also an American version of this album with an almost completely different track listing that uses the same basic design for the front cover, but this is a modern repressing of the United Kingdom track listing, so that's what I'm reviewing here. I do hope to review the American version at some point, though. So here's the front. It's got a nice picture of what was the band at the time. It does not have the drummer from the album because he left after this album and got replaced on the next one. It's got kind of an interesting color scheme. You got kind of a camouflage green, but then you have a black and white photo, but then you have this kind of neon orange, which is kind of interesting. Interesting choice. And the back also has that neon orange. Although that over there is almost pink. With the neon orange texture. It's kind of a nice picture of like a Riot and police running in to stop people. It kind of fits the aesthetic of the album quite well. And this does have a printed liner. I'm not sure if the original versions of this had it, though, since I do have an original copy of the next album that does not have a printed liner. But here it is. You've got the lyrics on this side. And then on this side, it's very plain. It's just plain black text. I've always prefer kind of plain text like this anyways. Like, it's nice to have designs, but it isn't a very clear, easy-to-read font. So I do appreciate that. So yeah, overall, it is a pretty nice looking sleeve, although not the nicest. Kind of camouflage green, and then neon orange is kind of an odd color decision, I think. It makes it stand out, but I'm not sure that's exactly a good thing. But the band does look very punky on the cover, so I think that's a good thing. Overall, pretty nice. So, for the final review of the songs on the album, Janie Jones, 9 out of 10. Remote Control, 9 out of 10. I'm So Bored with the USA, 8 out of 10. White Riot, 9 out of 10. Hate and War, 6 out of 10. What's My Name, 6 out of 10. Deny, 9 out of 10. London's Burning, 7 out of 10. Career Opportunities, 9 out of 10. Cheat, 7 out of 10. Protex Blue, 8 out of 10. Place in Thieves, 9 out of 10. 48 Hours, 5 out of 10. Garageland, 8 out of 10. Overall, I give the album 8 out of 10. Each song on this album solves the greater album very well, and it all fits in very holistically and very tonally similar and works very well together. My top 3 recommended cuts from the album are Remote Control, Deny, and Police and Thieves. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and if you want more like it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I will, at some point in the future, hopefully pretty soon, review the Clash's level albums. So, stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching once again, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.